Okay, so what we want to do is actually look at what our Photoshop file is doing, but some of us want to use 3ds Max, and for a quick fix we'll go ahead and show you how to do that. First things first, I'll open up the Explorer window and find my object. Let's go ahead back into Minecart, and we want the FBX file, not the OBJ that we downloaded earlier in the week. This one is updated on the Classroom. Just drag and drop right into here. It'll say import, and then it'll give you a weird place to drag it into. You can see how it's following my mouse right now. Just click somewhere near the center. We don't really need to make any modifications to this thing altogether. We want to see what our Photoshop file looks like on it. So first things first, just so you know where the UVs are located on this, we go down here and I look down, scroll to the bottom, and we want the unwrap UVW, not the other ones. We don't want any of these UVs. We want unwrap UVW. Then that allows us to open up the UV editor window. Boop, boop. And there are our UVs all nicely laid out, just like they're seen here in the Photoshop file. So everything is nice and happy. So let's go ahead and close that, and we can actually just trash can that since we don't really need to make any modifications at the moment. Usually better to do that anyway as we build this material up. So I'll go ahead and start a new material so we can redo this process. We start off with a standard in 3ds Max. I'm in the material editor here, by the way. Pull up there, it says M for the keyboard shortcut, and we'll just pop it on and off. Drag and drop to standard. 3ds Max is old technology, so it uses some older terminology, but diffuse color is the actual color of the object, and that's the only one we're really worried about right now. So let's go ahead and pull off of there like a node. I'm using the left click to do so. Go to General and then Bitmap, and now we look for the bitmap. So we're using the Minecart Albedo 1, which I believe is this one right here. It gives you a little preview, and it pops up. We are using the PSD because we can get a live dynamic access to this, and this will be updated when we save here. It'll update in 3ds Max, and that's why we use it. When we get to the finished product and we send it on its way, we'll use an actual proper file type, such as a Targa, a JPEG, a bitmap, whatever the game engine or process calls for. So I hit open that, and that's going to ask me for individual layer or collapse layers. Well, let's go ahead and just leave it collapse layers right now. That it'll save whatever we have available and open in the actual source file in Photoshop. Pop it up. There we go. So I double click on here to make the window small or big. Same thing with the actual 3D preview. I want to double click on this banner. Let's go ahead and make it active. You can tell because of the dotted lines around it. And I'm going to go ahead and change the name to Minecart. We'll go ahead and we can name the bitmap also Minecart, not Minecart, Minecart. Say BMP for bitmap. Minecart standard. Alright, so we got this active. What we want to do now is we want to make sure that we have our Minecart selected. So let's go ahead and pull this thing off of here a little bit. Actually, let's put it this way because we need to see these buttons right here. Got this here. So what we want to do is actually apply the assigned material to the selected object. I left click around the object to select it, so I can hit apply. Now we can see that it's applied because we can see these tabs right here on the actual object, but we're not seeing the actual texture map. What we need to do now is click this white box and turquoise ball to make it visible in here. So now this is the actual material. I can close the window, and let's go ahead and save the scene. That way we don't have to redo this process. I hit save as. I'm going to go in here and save right over cart 2. This is the older scene. Thank goodness we have new models. I just hit +1, so now I'm in cart 01. So let's go into Photoshop and see our dynamic action happening. Come in here and let's go ahead and let's pull that old file that we worked on last class. Excuse me. And that's not the new one. Open recent, this one. And I'm just going to grab the wood that we built on last class. The exterior wood. Boop, that was perfect. So what I can do here, this is a nice little technique that I like to do a lot. I have this file open and it has some of the files that I want to work on. Basically, it has the slats and the wood blend that we worked on. So I want to take those two files and I want to just drag those right into here and slide that right back on here, so you can see that they're all set up. Now I have to go back and get all my layers set up for this particular cart, and you can see the scale is already different than it is over here. Let's go ahead and close this bad boy. Do not care. And we'll just, oopsie. that and drag that right there. And now we're ready to go. Now if I want to see what this looks like, let's go ahead and just turn this. Control T and move and do all this stuff. I'm not really doing a whole lot. Let's go ahead and hit save. Boop. Now it's saving this file. If I move it, you can see that it's not been saved. There's a star right there. It's pretty common across a lot of softwares. Hit save. Now let's go back in here and look, there's my awesome wood texture updated in my scene. And my gosh, I think I'm done. It's amazing. This is the best minecart ever. Alright, that's how we can get set up. Thanks.